Guys, we just got a proper announcement for the next Godzilla X Kong movie, or Godzilla and Kong, however you want to say it. The next Monsterverse movie starring Godzilla and Kong. It's called Godzilla X Kong Supernova. Um, we can speculate as to what that's going to mean. It could be that we're dealing with Gigan, or that we've got Space Godzilla, or whatever you want to say that it is. Supernova does, to me, mean something to do with outer space, so we probably are fighting an alien this time. But rather than speculate as to what this particular movie's about, I want to talk about the Monsterverse in general and kind of where I want it to go. Because I am a huge Godzilla fan. I love the Showa era. I love the Toho movies. I even enjoy this legendary Monsterverse from Warner Brothers that we've got, even though I think that the concept of an American Godzilla is oxymoronic at best and downright insulting at worst. It's entertaining enough. I've even found reasons to watch that 1998 Godzilla film with Matthew Broderick more than once. But with this Monsterverse, it's definitely hit or miss. I think that very first movie back in 2014 was really, really good in that it gave you the feeling of being a person on the ground experiencing Godzilla as his force of nature. He wasn't a character yet. But then you fast forward to Kong Skull Island, he very much is one. And I think that movie still has the best cast of human characters out of any of the movies in the Monsterverse, and it made me excited for more Kong. Obviously, they teased Godzilla vs. Kong coming in the future, and then we got King of the Monsters in the next couple years. I go back and forth on that movie. I think it has the worst cast of human characters in the entire franchise, but I think Ghidorah is presented well enough and portrayed well enough, and I like the thermonuclear Godzilla that we had at the end of the movie. There's plenty to enjoy in that movie. I like Mothra. I just really can't stand the human characters, and it makes me not want to watch it. Then Godzilla vs. Kong comes out. Some concessions need to be made in order for that movie to work, but it's entertaining enough. They come together to defeat Mechagodzilla, which you could kind of tell from the trailer that they were going to team up by the end of it. And if you were eagle-eyed enough, you knew it was going to be Mechagodzilla that they teamed up against. Nothing mind-blowing or earth-shaking there. And then they get a team-up movie a couple years later, Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. They fight two legendary Monsterverse original monsters in Scar King and Shimo, and it ends up being my second least favorite. Not necessarily because of the original monsters, but just because, like, it's so unfocused, I guess. Godzilla does all this, like, powering up for the sake of fighting Shimo, but I don't know how he would know that Shimo is even a threat right now. Nothing in, like, the deeper parts of Hollow Earth has changed until Kong goes down there and starts fucking around with things. I don't love the Project Powerhouse stuff. That one just comes across as very silly. But one thing that does seem to be consistent with the movies that feature both Godzilla and Kong is that Kong is still the main character of the two. For instance, in Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire, Godzilla maybe has 4 or 5 minutes of screen time, whereas Kong probably has closer to 20 minutes. There's an imbalance there, and we can talk more about that after this very brief message. Pardon the interruption, it's your boy Toxic Boyo, and I wanted to take a brief moment to let you know about the Toxic Touch Productions Patreon. I'm not currently monetized on YouTube, but I still want to bring you the best content that I possibly can. I want to make those videos that you love, and I want them to be the best that they can be. But I need a little help. That's where you guys come in. If you want to support me directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/ToxicTouchProductions, or click the link in the description or the pinned comment. For even just $5 a month, you can get your name included in the credits at the end of the video, gain access to exclusive channels on the Discord, and you get specialized merch at no extra cost. It only gets better as the tiers go higher. Go check it out. Thanks for listening, and thanks for supporting my dreams. Now let's get back to the video. With Godzilla's name coming first, you would want for him to have a bigger part in the movies. I guess they feel as though Godzilla got an extra movie dedicated to him, so we don't need to do any more work with him. It's just like, we'll just develop Kong as a character and give him the spotlight. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I like the legendary Monsterverse version of Kong. He's interesting. and he's entertaining enough. It's the most like a character that King Kong has probably ever been. However, I'm a Godzilla fan. Most people are Godzilla fans. These movies do well mostly because of Godzilla. So that being the case, I would like for them to be split up again. Or at least we can still do your Godzilla and Kong movies. I would just like for Kong to have another solo movie. Do all the character work you want with him now that he's found all these other apes. He's like the new king of the apes. He's still king of Hollow Earth, all that stuff. And you can have him continue to fight original monsters. You can make up a new thing for him to fight, like the giant Skullcrawler or Scar King or whatever the case may be, whatever you want him to deal with. And then give Godzilla a third solo movie, so that we have a Godzilla trilogy within this Monsterverse, and have him fight Gigan, or have him fight Space Godzilla, or whatever. Because I don't necessarily think that these things need to go on for too much longer either. You can't do more than maybe 2 or 3 more of these before people are like, okay, you know, we're watching all these movies where the main characters don't speak, and we're doing our best to keep up and treat this as seriously as possible, but there's only so much that you can do with it. I would like for next time that they're together, for it to be the finale. Have them fight Destroya or whatever, and wrap it up real nicely like that. Maybe Godzilla can move to outer space. I would also kind of like for Gamera to show up, but I know how Toho gets, and so if Gamera were to show up, he'd die. Gruesomely. And so maybe that's not necessarily the best thing to do either. But I think in a perfect world, we would get away from the human side characters. Now, in the New Empire, I do quite like Trapper. Everybody likes Trapper, and a lot of people are hoping that he becomes Jet Jaguar or something like that, because, you know, he works with the machines and he understands the monsters on a deeper level because he has such a love for all life and all that stuff. I like the idea. I'd be behind it if it does go that way. I like Trapper as much as the next guy. If we do go the Jet Jaguar route, I'd be totally fine with that. But by the time we get to our Godzilla Endgame stage of the Monsterverse, I would greatly prefer that we're no longer dealing with any human characters whatsoever. I think it's best if we put a stop to that as soon as possible. They just don't add anything really ever. Gia is cool, I guess. She's like an homage to those old Mothra movies. We can keep her if she continues to be connected to Mothra. That I'm totally fine with. I would also like to see more of Mothra now that she's not dead like she was at the end of King of the Monsters. Like, we've got a new Mothra, that's how it works. It's never the same one. But I'd like for her to stick around for a little while. I don't know, I just feel like there's so much untapped material when it comes to the Monsterverse. And we're wasting time on things like Shimo and Scar King. Because like I said, you can't make these movies forever. They're not going to be like Fast and Furious where, you know, 15 years from now people are still checking in. It's just not going to work that way. We are on borrowed time here considering the way that this franchise is going, because New Empire didn't make as much money as as King of the Monsters did, as far as I could tell. So we are already seeing diminishing returns. I enjoy this universe. You probably enjoy this universe. Plenty of people do. But again, we're not going to keep tuning in forever. I would like for them to focus up, give Godzilla the proper spotlight, and wrap this thing up as neatly as possible. As far as Supernova is concerned, Gigan, Space Godzilla are probably the most likely options. Something from outer space. I'm looking forward to that, but I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if like the next one after this is like the big finale. I would just like to see them separate for one more movie each, and then come back together and we end this with a bang. But that's just me and what I think. I've been kind of talking in circles this last little bit. So I want to pass the question off to you. What do you guys think of the Monsterverse? What monsters do you want to see in the future? Do you want Godzilla to get a bigger, portion of the attention? Do you want Kong's role diminished? What do you think? Whatever it is, whatever you think, let me know in the comments. I've been recording all day, to be completely honest with you, and I'm like starting to feel it. So I'm gonna lay down after this, but I'll see you very soon.